Good afternoon. Here we have a quiet little motel, tucked away off the main highway, and as you see, perfectly harmless looking, when in fact, it has now become known as the scene of the crime.
Hey guys, I'm Kevin.
I'm Jake.
And this is Movie Matters. Today we're talking about Psycho from 1960. Sorry, we're just making each other laugh by looking at each other. Just typical like high school, grade school bullshit. Yeah, we're here to talk about Psycho, another Hitchcock movie for Hitchcock Month. How many times have you seen this, Jake?
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, dozens. Like, I've seen it a lot.
Oh, wow. Damn.
Yeah, like, me and my brothers used to watch it all the time, like, around Halloween, and then my wife and I have been watching it, it's like, almost since we met.
That's
around
awesome.
Halloween, so, yeah.
So, you love it?
Yeah, I mean, widely regarded as, like, one of the best movies that Hitchcock ever did, probably the best. Also, like, one of the best horror movies of all time.
Yeah.
Commonly credited as the first slasher movie. So, yeah, there's, like, I mean, it's, like, one of the most influential films ever. So, at least in horror.
Absolutely.
You could argue, even, like, pop culture-wise, like, everybody knows the shower, murder and the music and all that stuff. So
yeah, definitely iconic, definitely in pop culture. Yeah, this movie's number 37 on IMDb's top 250. Definitely well warranted. It was nominated for 4 Oscars, didn't win any, which is surprising. Nominated for Janet Leigh for Best Supporting Actress, Best Director for Hitchcock, Best Cinematography, and then Best Art Direction and Set Direction. Or set decoration. This movie has a lot of trivia, almost too much. It was a little overwhelming, so I kept it pretty simple. But, yeah, I mean, I've seen this movie probably a few times, at least a few. And we'll categorize a few as 3. And I love this movie. I mean, it's so well done. There's so many awesome shots. Again, this is Hitchcock. I mean, he knows he's a master. Like, he literally is a master filmmaker. Watching this movie specifically after North by Northwest, I mean, this movie came out right after it. He is literally the master. Like, there's no one that really does it like him. And
yeah.
I was so impressed with this movie, looking at it from a technical aspect and how we look at it under a microscope for this podcast and how we review it. I just was blown away. Like, so good.
Yeah, I'm glad we watched the movies in the order that we have so far, because I think it's been chronological, or near chronological.
Should be. I'll verify.
And like, what's interesting about Psycho that I read is that he was supposed to do another, like, normal Hitchcock, like, crime noir, murder mystery kind of movie for Paramount. And he was just, like, not feeling it. So his assistant, like, brought the book to his attention, which is also called Psycho. And he was like, yeah, absolutely, I gotta do this. And the studio was like, absolutely not. So he had to fight with them and negotiate like crazy to get the movie to be made. I think he paid $9,500 for the rights to the book.
I saw 9,000.
Okay, so somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, and he had one of his people like buy up like every copy of the book like that they could get their hands on, so people wouldn't read it ahead of the movie coming out, which was wild. And then in order to get Paramount to agree to the movie being made, he I think totally funded it himself and took a percentage of like the negative like prints or whatever in lieu of a salary, which is really crazy. So
Yes.
and it's thundering at my house. So
I was gonna say that background noise. Yeah, that's a pretty gnarly storm. Damn, you can hear it pretty well.
yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I feel like we always record during a thunderstorm.
The power went, or like the tornado siren went off the one time. That was funny. Yeah, you can. It's really coming down. You can hear it. That's cool. Hopefully that's soothing for our listeners and viewers.
It's the ambiance of this movie a little bit.
100%. So I found that trivia fact pretty interesting. He wanted to make this movie so bad that he did defer his salary, which was normally $250,000, in lieu of 60% of the movie's gross. And Paramount believed the movie was going to flop because he basically had delivered a few string of flops, except obviously North by Northwest. But his personal earnings exceeded $15 million in that time, which is the 60s, which is insane. At that, that's $168 million in today's money. That's insane. Insane.
Yeah, it's wild.
There's a lot of facts like that I'll get to in terms of how the money equates. Like, for example, the movie only cost $800,000 to make, and which is $9 million in today's money, which is still, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Which was one of the reasons why he filmed it in black and white too, was to keep costs down, which is super interesting.
Yes. And the movie earned more than $40 million at the box office, so it was a very big hit, which is, in today's money, that's $448 million, which is insane. So, I mean, horror is king. Horror, like, always has good box office returns. You see it in today's day and age with Obsession and Backrooms, and it's like, if you think about it, and I was talking to my friend about this, I forget exactly who, but, you know, movies, we talk about it in some of our other episodes about how movies are just sequels after sequels, and it's all based on IP and all that stuff, which I guess you could say Backrooms is based on somewhat of IP, but a lot of horror movies are original. There's not a ton of horror sequels out there for the most part. I mean, granted, you've got Friday the 13th, you've got these master collections of these movies, but like in today's day and age, you're not looking at Friday the 13th part 11 or 12, you know what I mean? Or
like Halloween is the only franchise that like refuses to like go away of
which
like
I think it's
the
away
big
now.
slasher movies, but
What they are making I think you even sent it to me. They're making Camp Crystal Lake, the series, the TV show. So, but it's interesting. The reason I bring that up is because it's like original movies that are made for low budgets are killing it right now in terms of in the horror space. And this movie did that in 1960, which is awesome.
Especially independent horror movies.
Yes.
You know, like all the A24 stuff and you know, like Blumhouse and like all those like smaller, you know, studios that are just like pumping out like absolute gold. Like consistently.
100%. I've said it before. It's like, and I've thought this a lot. It's just give these these new filmmakers, just give them a small budget to work with and release something and see if it sticks. And that's kind of what you're getting. And I know some studios are going to be like, oh, let's get YouTubers and you know, first name filmmakers or like Instagram stars or TikTok directors, you know, stuff like that. They're gonna be like, oh, give them a shot, which is okay, but like also give out like, you know, newer filmmakers a chance that haven't started in that space. However, that's kind of how a lot of people are getting started in the industry now. It's such a different space, but it's so Paramount Pictures originally gave them such a small budget because they had such a distaste for the surface or the source material. A lot of people were like, "This is like not appropriate, and it just was so different and revolutionary for its time.
I read one of the producers was like, "This is like unfilmable. Like you cannot make this book into a movie."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what's cool is Hitchcock, I mean, even he knew, I just feel like Hitchcock always had that kind of like, he knew what he was getting into. And
yeah. I mean, it's clear that he has like substantial vision. Like he can see everything, like before it even, comes together. So yeah, like I think he knew exactly how he wanted to handle it, or at least had like a very good, conceptual starting point,
Yeah. Did you hear that?
What?
Oh, okay, never mind. Can you hear the dings that come through or no?
No.
Oh, okay. I get text messages through my computer.
Oh, yeah.
And they like ding super loud with my headphones on and the volume's cranked all the way up. So I like become deaf after these things go off, and I'm always curious if you can hear them. So I'm glad you can't. but yeah, that was we're goofy today, people. It's okay.
Yeah.
So I thought this was a cool fact that Hitchcock, he began the first day of work. He always had to make the people raise their right hands and swear on an oath not to divulge one word of the story, and he withheld the script, the ending part of the script, from the cast until he needed to shoot it. He was so secretive about everything, which is awesome.
Yeah. This is like, well, I mean, like, we watched, oh my God, the Witness for the Prosecution, which is like very, very much the same type of thing where there's like this massive twist ending, that that you got to keep under wraps, and like, I feel like it was easier back in the day.
100%. There's no social media.
Yeah, there's no, and like also like it's just like press aren't just like hounding like the studios constantly, and like all these like film like like film media, or like film news media, like just constantly trying to get like snapshots of productions and stuff. But I mean, it's still impressive that like none of this got out, especially because a book was written first. Like, and it wasn't like totally spoiled for a large swath of people.
That I'd be curious to look at and I barely just was looking this up as you were saying that. It made me think of when did paparazzi become a thing? When did that blow up and become even crazier, with the whole Princess Diana thing, and Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, all these crazy paparazzi things. I'm wondering how intense it was in the 60s for stars even too,
Yeah.
I'd be interested to look that up. I feel like that'd be a good paper you could do on in school. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very interesting subject.
I bet there's a lot to dive into with that.
Yeah. It's very interesting to me. It just was came to my head. Yeah, I mean, very, very interesting. I wonder, I mean, I think it really, if you look at the Avengers movies, this newest one, there's not really any leaks for the most part coming from it so far.
Yeah, but they already told us everything that's you want to know about it.
But
I think too, a lot of the movies just leak everything up front anyway. Robert Downey Jr. is going to be back, and that's the thing that gets people to show up to the movie, instead
I know, but it's how do you he's got such a big box office draw that it's you have to announce that he's in it. But it would be so sick to be oh shit.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have announced it, and they should have done that at the end of a movie where it's
They should have done it at the end of Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I never watched that. Did you?
Yeah, I watched. It was fine. It wasn't like
Yeah. I have not been caught up with any of the superhero stuff for the
I'm
most
not
part.
either. That was the only one I watched.
I do want to do again, we're getting a little off topic and goofy here, but I do want to do like a superhero month that's not standard superhero movies, like Unbreakable. Like I want to do that.
That's gonna be my end of the year choices or whatever. I'm doing non MCU and DC comic book movies.
Did you have that on our schedule?
Yeah.
Shows how good of a co-host I am with not looking at that. However, to be fair, we haven't finalized everything, but it's your month, so.
Yeah.
All right, back to this movie. So another reason that they shot it in black and white is because Hitchcock thought it was going to be super gory. He thought it was going to be super bloody. But the main reason he wanted to shoot it as inexpensively as possible for under $1 million. He also wondered if so many bad, inexpensively made black and white B movies did so well at the box office, what would happen if a really good, inexpensively made black and white movie was made? He's like, fuck these B movies. I'm going to make it like a B movie, but I'm going to make it amazing. Like, yeah. Hitchcock just has that confidence.
Well, like a lot of the stuff, I mean, like the lighting in this movie is like you couldn't do it in color. Like it only works because it's in black and white. It has that like oppressive like ambiance because it's in black and white.
Yeah, agreed.
And like for sure he knew all that. Like, you know, like that's what he was going for from the beginning. Like, I think. Definitely.
Also, I'm going to get a little weird here, but like, you know, BDE, like Big Dick Energy. I was thinking like Big Hitchcock Energy. BHE.
For sure.
He's got it.
Yeah.
BHE.
Yeah.
That's what I'm calling it from now on. That's what the month should have been called. It's Big Hitchcock Energy. Yeah, again, we're goofy today. It's okay. But yeah, so the another reason this movie was made is because Hitchcock was fed up with big budget, star-studded movies he'd recently been making and wanted to experiment and be more efficient and do like a television style of filmmaking, which is super cool because this, like North by Northwest is this huge, big scale, big budget, like star-studded movie, and then he goes to this movie that is the complete antithesis of all of that, which is so cool. And again, it's that BHE. It's that Big Hitchcock Energy where he's just like, I can make this, but I can also make this, and I'll make it fucking awesome. And he did it. It's so sick.
And this is like, this is about as close as you can get to being a single location movie without it actually being a single location movie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he wanted to scale things back for this movie. He like also his rival, this French New Wave director Henry Georges Clouzot, hit the bullseye and created a critical box office sensation with the classic Diabolique, which I've never seen. All the critics said Clouzot had out Hitchcocked Hitchcock. Mm-hmm. So that sounds like a movie we have to add to our list.
Yeah,
and because of that, Hitchcock was like, hold my beer. Like, fuck you. Like, I'm
not
kicking
putting
ass.
up with that.
Yeah. Like, so sick. Now, okay, I did not catch him in this movie. Did you catch his cameo?
Yeah, he's standing outside of the window of, I think, Marion's office.
Yes. I did not catch. And
he's
in
wearing
like
a cowboy hat. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not catch it. And his daughter's in it in the beginning as well, in the office. So he wanted to cameo early in the movie because he didn't want to divert attention away from the plot because people are always looking out for his cameo because they know, which is funny. And so I think this movie really almost has it's like two different movies in one. And that's what I love about it. The second half of the movie is incredible, in my opinion. Like, the first half is a little slow-paced, but it's building the plot. and then it just like flips on its head and is insanely awesome, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is another movie where, like he uses the MacGuffin in like such an impeccable way. Like this movie starts out as almost a heist movie, and or like a
Yeah.
like like the aftermath
Yeah.
of her stealing the money and like
The
the
paranoia.
focus, all of the focus is on the money and how she's going to deal with the repercussions of having done that until she gets to the hotel, and then everything starts to shift and it just like becomes a straight horror movie, which is like so cool, so well done. Like everything about it is just like super well crafted. And that transition too from like crime to horror is like just so well handled. Like it basically all takes place within that like parlor conversation between Marion and Norman. When you start to see that like Norman's not really as like
Friendly
normal as he seems. Yeah.
Not normal Bates.
Yeah.
Yeah, like him peeping through the little peephole he has is creepy.
Well,
and
that's also when the lighting starts to change. Like that scene is very like high contrast, and then you have the like bird like all of the birds like mounted behind them are in like attack positions like over their shoulders and stuff. Lots of like implied violence in the parlor room, which is a really, really good filmmaking.
yeah, definitely.
It's like even if you don't like really notice it, like you're picking up on it, I think subconsciously.
And the way it's shot starts to shift too, because he uses different lenses. He uses like a 50 mil lens and on his 35 millimeter camera, which kind of gives that like voyeuristic view. And you're watching Marion with Norman, and it makes the viewer uneasy. And you're like, what the hell is happening here? Like, why is this changing? And it's that cool transition. That 40,000 she stole in that time would be about $448,000 in today's money, which is a lot of money. The $700 difference she paid for the car, which is hilarious because she's like getting taken for. It's like $700, and like she's like, okay, and he's just like, the sales guy's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
That $700 would be like $7,800 in today's money, which is crazy. And what's also funny and hilarious is Anthony Perkins, who plays Norman Bates, got paid $40,000 for his role. So it's I don't know. I thought that was a really interesting fact. Speaking of that, did you know Anthony Perkins' son, Osgood Perkins? Did you know that's?
I didn't know that was. I didn't know they were related.
Yeah, and he did Long Legs and The Monkey and a few other movies. Yeah, and he supposedly produced Backrooms.
Yeah, I saw that somewhere.
Or not supposedly, he did produce it. I haven't
But
seen
he's
it
like uncredited or something.
something like that.
Or at least they didn't publicize it.
Yeah. And so, speaking of the voyeuristic view, so Marion Crane in the beginning is like all in white. She's in a white bra and like white undergarments, and she has a white handbag, and so she's like angelic and like this peaceful person, and then she steals the money, and then she's in all black basically.
Yeah.
Especially when Norman Bates is looking through the peephole, she's in a black bra and everything. It's like her transition from good to evil, and it's like that another transition in the movie that happens. That's so cool and such subtle detail in filmmaking. Again, I feel like stuff like that isn't used as much in movies, or at least it's not as apparent. Maybe I don't know. I find stuff like that super interesting. But it's also
Yeah.
like sometimes you don't pick up upon that on your first like viewing or like some viewings, and reading the trivia helps you pick up on that. I mean, and
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
also if you're really dissecting the movie, it's like, oh, like, well, she's wearing this and now she's wearing this. Like, it really helps when you dissect it. So,
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair though, like Captain America doesn't have like multiple layers of symbolism, like going on usually. So,
yeah.
yeah, I'd say it's probably more of these like independent kind of movies. I think are still doing that kind of stuff.
The attention to
currently,
detail, I feel like, is a
Yeah.
little more. I don't know. I guess that might be like judging a book by its cover, roughly, because you never know what the filmmaker intends. But like, big budget Marvel movies, it's like they don't have a ton of attention to detail for the most part, and it's like certain. Again, I feel like that's a very that could be a big argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's
Well,
a
I
lot
mean,
more
like,
layers to that.
even like you kind of talked about like constraining yourself through a small budget, like then that stuff becomes really important because it's like if I'm gonna buy only 2 outfits in this movie for my lead actress, like what do I want to convey with both of those, or whatever, right? Like
Absolutely.
it's super important to the film, at that point.
Absolutely. That's where you get that BHE. This is a terrible transition going from that to the shower scene. But the shower scene is iconic in this movie. And you've mentioned it in a couple of our other episodes that they use chocolate syrup, Bosco chocolate syrup, for the blood. But the way he shoots it and edits it, there's like 91 splices in it, and it's like insanely edited and so well done. The shot of just the shower head, he basically designed a shower head strategically so the camera wouldn't get wet, which is just impressive. And the sound of the knife hitting flesh was a knife stabbing a cassava melon. And that's what they used for sound, so pretty interesting. But this is also where Hitchcock was like, he was not happy with the movie. And then they wanted to have the shower scene with no score whatsoever. And his wife basically was like, no, you should definitely have some music in there. And even Bernard Herrmann, the iconic composer of this, was like, let me put my spin on it. And obviously it's become iconic because of that. And the
Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes it from a gruesome murder to jump scare.
Yeah.
Which
and
is
like shocking. It makes it even more shocking.
Yeah. It gets you all like I don't know. It's super uncomfortable music. Yeah. And keeps you
like
on
nails
edge
on a
through the whole
chalkboard.
thing. While I was reading up on production stuff, I think that's the shower murder is like 3 minutes long, which is
Really?
like crazy. I mean, we talked about how kind of brutal the murders were in Dial M for Murder and the other one that we just watched.
Strangers on a Train?
Yes, Strangers on a Train, which are both strangulations and are both pretty long scenes as well. And I haven't seen every single Hitchcock movie, but of the ones we've watched, this is the first one that's like weapon violence. Which is interesting as well. And it's choosing the knife. I mean, it's from the book, but like it's such more like both like impersonal and personal at the same time, because like using a weapon rather than like your own hands, is like a one level, removed a little bit, but also like as we see in like the scene, like you get the blood everywhere and like it's messy, it's horrifying. So it's
It's
I
the
feel like it
angles,
really
too.
helps. Yeah,
Like,
and it helps convey like that, like how frantic like everything is in the scene,
absolutely.
like so well. And like you said, like all the cuts, like the editing cuts are like, I mean, there's like she stabs her like 50 times too, so there's that. But like
She
he
is that a
Norman
is that
stabs
a
her.
is that a Freudian slip? Is that what they
I guess.
consider that? Right?
I think so.
I think that works.
Yeah, but you know, like the editing cuts almost mirror the stabs, you know, like and the way it changes angle almost every single time too is just like it's just super well done, and like really helps build the like the shock value of the scene, I think.
100%. I also read that this Hitchcock was so thrilled with the score from Bernard Herrmann that he doubled the composer's salary to $34,500, which is like $386,000 in today's money, which is insane. And Hitchcock later said, 33% of the effect of Psycho was due because of the music. Ironically, he was originally, again, adamant that there shouldn't be any music in that scene. But think about it, like, again, it's iconic. We talk about it like that. People in pop culture have used that and like knife stabbing all the time. It's in other movies. And it also inspired the music for Jaws. Like, people were afraid to take showers because of this movie. Janet Leigh saw the movie, and even though her character is like it's a body double that gets killed, I read that she only took baths from the rest of her life on, like, which is crazy. Like, think about Jaws. Like, people are afraid to get in water because of that. I mean, I'm still terrified of sharks because of that movie. Like,
Yeah, I know.
which I think, are we eventually going to do Jaws? I know you know the schedule better than I do.
I think so.
Okay, we need to.
We've talked about it for sure, but yeah.
I'm going to see Disclosure Day Saturday.
Nice.
So stoked to see that. I've heard it's a good return to form. It's like his best movie in 20 years, Spielberg's. So what does that say about his other movies? Not good. I've heard, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of his more recent movies except The Fabelmans, and I thought it was
I haven't either.
But the characters in this movie I love, like when it switches. The private detective's awesome. I love how it shifts characters and like focuses on them, and then the private detective gets killed. Like, that scene is incredible and how that's shot.
Well, and like what's so great about that is, one, he replaces the police detective that's like typical for his movies with a private detective, which I think like adds an element of like like distrust. You know, like the audience distrusts Arbogast a little bit, which is like super key, I think, to keeping the audience off kilter through the second half of the movie. And then, killing him off, who's like usually the guy who solves the crime and saves the day, is just genius too. Like, again, like it happens in the book, but like the way that he kills him in the movie is spectacular. I think in the book, like Arbogast gets murdered like right in the foyer, like right when he walks in the house. Where like this, like he drags the scene out of him walking up the stairs and like following him up the stairs, then up to like almost like plan view of the staircase, and you get another like jump scare of Norman running out of the room with the knife, and then immediately cut to Arbogast's like bloody face as he's like flying down the stairs, you know, which is like, it's just so well shot and like so does such a good job of keeping you like unsteady, you know, as a viewer.
Oh yeah, and again, and it also is like keeps you on edge in terms of like, all right, well, like you said, like he just kills this character off, and it's like, well, now what the fuck's going to happen? Like, how are they going to get out of this? And that shot with him falling down the stairs is my favorite shot of the entire movie. It's so cool. And they did that with they shoot him flailing his arms, Arbogast, Martin Balsam, and he was sitting stationary, like waving his arms up and down, as if he's losing his balance, and he's in front of a projection of the dolly moving down the stairs. So, and like they even have like the pitter patter of his feet, like superimposed or like over that, which is super cool. Yeah, I mean it's so, that whole sequence of him getting killed is so well done. It's the most impressive. Like, I think it's better than the shower murder scene, personally.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's the way they handle that transition from moving up the stairs, and then the camera, like, moves independently of Arbogast and, like, goes up in, like, one motion is just super awesome.
So impressive.
Then, like, Norman flying out of the room, like frantically, like waving the knife, and then, and like you said, like the use of the rear projector is awesome. I mean, like, I think, well, the one part I think not to cut that short, but the one thing we didn't talk about in the shower scene is the camera work at the end when Marion's dead, with the focus on her eye and the like spin and like peel back, or like pull back from her body is also just like another unbelievable shot. What's
funny is there's these, like, I forget what it was, this group of like pomologists or something like that. I'm botching the name 100%, and I apologize. But a group was like, hey, like her eyes wouldn't be, like her pupils wouldn't be like that. They'd be a little bit different. And if she was truly dead, and there's eye drops that make your pupils look like you're dead, like they still. And from post this movie on, he used those drops on every one of his movies because of that, which is kind of interesting because it takes his perfectionist mentality of like, oh, these like professionals say this, I'm going to implement that on every movie moving forward. Like I'm taking this criticism and I'm going to make it even more realistic and haunting, which is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of detail that like really, most people probably don't care about, but it's like one of those things that can like really make a movie go up a level,
Yeah. And what I like about this movie too is like the police are not inept. They have like, in a sense, like in most critiques of movies, they're like, why not just call the police? And it's like they go to the police and they try and get them to like interfere, and they don't. And it's like, oh, I'm just going to make a phone call to the sheriff. And it's like, all right, well, now we're going to take matters into our own hands, which is great and such a great way to move the plot forward without having the police do it and shifting the focus to Marion's sister as the main character, which is genius as well.
Yeah, well, one of the other like little details of the movie that's awesome is the like cowboy that gives the $40,000 to Marion's boss, makes that comment about like, well, I don't declare anything, that's why I get to keep it, and that's why he hires Arbogast instead of going to the police, is because he doesn't want law enforcement involvement with this cash, because there's probably other questions that are going to come up if he's waving around $40,000 in cash, and they do make a point in the beginning of saying like how irregular that is and like how they don't want to take that cash from him, they want to check, so like it sets up everything in like such a good way. And then like Sam and Lila go to the police as like a last ditch effort after Arbogast disappears,
and what's cool is they're like, he's on our side. It's like, we think he's on our side, and that's great because at first he's not.
Right. Yeah. and like I think they portray the small town sheriff very well, as like, you guys don't know my town. Like, there's nothing, like, Norman's not like, the like,
Yeah.
like, he's a little weird, but like, there's nothing like weird going on up there. Like, just, I'll just give him a call. And, like, we'll sort this out. And like, oh yeah, they're gone. Somebody said something about Chicago. They're probably out there. Arbogast already has the money. Like,
Yeah.
whatever, right?
And what's cool is he's also the one that reveals the information that the mother's been dead for 10 years. She's been dead for 10 years.
Such a good drop too. Like,
really good.
Like, because it's an additional mystery factor, and like kind of closes the loop on the mystery to horror back to mystery, which is like really the third act is uncovering like what the hell is actually going on in the motel,
And I'd almost argue that sequence is the best part of Sam and Lila going through the Bates Motel and searching it, which is, they both search it, and then Sam like tries to distract Norman, and like that whole, like, I mean, I've seen this movie a couple times, like I said, and like just rewatching it, I'm like, this is so awesome and so intense. Like, I'm still on edge, and like, what's gonna happen? It was such a great watching and viewing experience for me.
Well, how like hostile Sam is too is great. Like through that whole conversation, or the part of the conversation that we get to watch, he's just like poking him like constantly, like, with every single thing that he says is like a jab at him,
But what's really cool is, like right after, she's been dead for 10 years, the mother, there's a sequence where he carries a woman down the stairs, and you're like, wait, what? Like, is she still alive? Like, it makes you question and still creates that mystery of like, what the hell's going on? And then you get, obviously, the big reveal that Norman is the mother and the mother's corpse. He's just parading around the mother's corpse, which is crazy. What's really funny is Hitchcock tested the fear factor of the corpse by putting it in Janet Leigh's dressing room and waiting to hear how loud her scream was. And obviously it was pretty loud, so he knew it would be like that crazy fear factor and create that level of uneasiness. I mean, this movie's awesome. I've got like 3 more facts, and then we can wrap it up. So the ending with the like psychologist that's talking about Norman and like just like basically saying instead of it being shown. Hitchcock hated that scene, but the studio kind of pressured him to do that because they wanted the studio wanted to like relieve pressure from the earlier scenes and like dull down the senses of everyone and just be like, look, we're going to take a breather right now. And in my opinion, that's exactly how I felt. I'm like, this is like, it feels so like different, this scene. And it's like, this scene didn't necessarily need to be in there, in my opinion. And
I feel the same way. It's like the only thing about this movie that I don't like. Yeah, I'm just like this, and more so just because it's a monologue basically, and like it doesn't fit with the rest of the tone of the movie.
100%.
Yeah.
But there's the real, like the ending is awesome with Norman just like going with the internal voice in his head and him looking up at the camera very sinisterly, and. There's the superimposed shot of the skull. I mean, I'm sure you've seen that because you've seen it a dozen fucking times. And then they superimpose it with the chain coming out of like the heart of him with the car, and that's super cool. It's just like it's symbolic that they're tied together, the mother and Norman. But yeah, this movie kind of similar to. Strangers on a Train is like this movie really Hitchcock was so adamant that this movie needed to be seen from start to finish, that no one could go in middle end, or like basically he made a contract with theater owners to be like, you cannot let anyone in post the start of the movie, which is crazy. And that started formatting the whole process of mandatory seating times at theaters, which continues to this day. It's like you have to be at 7 o'clock. Like you have to go 7 p.m. You go in. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, I love this movie. I think it's great. Again, there was so much other trivia on there, so I apologize if the viewer or the audience knows something that's like, oh, why didn't you talk about this? Message us. Tell us the fun fact that you saw. Comment on this video. We'd love to hear from you. So, anything else you want to add, Jake?
Yeah, the only other thing I want to just like briefly like touch on is like Perkins is just so good.
Oh yeah.
Like
okay.
Like
thank you.
And sitting in like like I like went in this time with a more analytical mindset, so I was like paying a little bit more attention to like the technical kind of stuff, like as we do. But I was just like watching him like in every scene that he's in, like the little like facial tics and like movements that he's doing, like when he's uncomfortable and stuff, is just like so good. And, like he makes that like or like conveys that like nervous energy like so well.
And serial killer energy too.
But also like not uncharming.
Yes, agreed,
like
too.
100%. Like he like toes the line so well between like neurotic but also like kind of like nice and like kind of like normal, like, or like just a little awkward, like
normal Bates,
but so good.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate you saying that, because we always forget to say something. After the end of these episodes, I'm always like, fuck, we forgot to talk about that. And I wanted to talk about that. There's just always so much to talk about. So hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. And hopefully you enjoyed the movie, because the movie's iconic and incredible. And we'll be back next week with another Hitchcock movie. It's not in chronological order, as you mentioned. We're going with The Man Who Knew Too Much from '56, which I've never seen. You've never seen, right?
Right.
So we should be in hopefully for another great treat, and hopefully you guys are too. Thank you guys for listening, watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, see you.